Free Fall opens with the rookies cramming for their final exam over a late-night meal. They get the chance to apply what they've learned when a nearby food truck gets robbed. As they arrest the two suspects, the rookies quickly recite the relevant penal code. The next morning, Nolan and Russo are enjoying some quiet time when Nolan brings up his son's upcoming visit. Unsure about how to introduce them, he expresses his concern, prompting Russo to abruptly cut the conversation short and leave. Back at the station, Ruiz follows up with Bishop about her request to act as a mole. But Bishop took a different approach. She went to Gray and Commander West directly, which ends up helping her clear the issue. In the bullpen, the training officers weigh in on their rookie's upcoming exam. Bradford refuses to go easy on Chen, whether it's during that morning's patrol or months down the line. Before the rookies can sit for the written test, they're scheduled for a short 6-hour shift. Lopez talks to West about his performance and admits she blames herself for his struggle. She's thinking of requesting a nude for him if he passes, but West insists he doesn't want anyone else. Since he missed out on a plainclothes day, Lopez lets him take the lead for their final shift. While bringing in two suspects, Lopez crosses paths with Wesley. She mentions she'll be off early because of the exams, and he asks her to give him a call. Meanwhile, Bradford and Chen respond to a heated dispute involving a man named Randy Fisher, Ryan McGovern, who's panicking over a psychic reading. After running his name through the system, they learn he's a suspect in his wife's disappearance. Elsewhere, Bishop and Nolan are called to a homicide at a bus station where they discover the body of Class Isaiah Adam. The situation quickly intensifies when Russo and Dr. Morgan, Felicia Day, arrive, raising concerns that the victim might have been exposed to a homemade biological agent. Russo and Morgan brief the team at the precinct. They explain that two men linked to a terrorist group, Clash and another unidentified individual, entered the city that morning. While one is now dead, the other is still at large. Given the seriousness of the case, the rookie exams are postponed, and the department shifts into high alert. Nolan later confronts Russo about her earlier reaction to his son, Henry. She explains her hesitation wasn't about meeting him, but rather the dangerous circumstances they're now facing. Nolan isn't satisfied with her answer, but before the conversation can continue, he's called away. Bradford and Chen then respond to a complaint from an upset bus passenger, Sean Michael Howard, who claims he lost his bag, but the one he has is full of scientific equipment, and he's already injured himself on it. Realizing what's going on, Bradford quickly reacts, but before he can contain the threat, the man coughs up blood, exposing Bradford to the virus. Chen urges him to leave the room, but he calmly tells her to stay focused. Nolan and Bishop speak with a production crew member named Brad Dallas, Rui Iskandar, who has a photo of the two suspects. They take his phone to hand over to the FBI. Russo later apologizes to Nolan for not telling him the truth in order to protect Henry, and he forgives her without hesitation. Fortunately, the FBI is able to identify one of the men in the photo, Jimmy Roskin, Gabriel F. Bellotti. Gray fills everyone in on the situation with the bus passenger and the possibility that Bradford has been exposed. The CDC arrives and begins following standard containment protocol. As the infected bus passenger begins experiencing a severe nosebleed, the CDC asks Bradford to examine the contents of the mysterious bag. Inside, he finds a misting fan, which appears to be intended as a delivery method for the virus. While Bradford continues inspecting the bag, a man suddenly strikes him over the head. Bradford regains consciousness, manages to tase the suspect, and brings the situation back under control. Sadly, he's forced to watch as the man dies from hemorrhagic fever, bleeding from every part of his body. Elsewhere, Roskin's last known whereabouts and vehicle are tracked down. Patrol units begin canvassing the streets of LA in search of him. After getting no help from local homeowners, Bishop turns to the area's homeless population. One of them points them to a nearby apartment building. There, they find documents identifying the suspect's real name, Brendan Mitchell, Trenton Rosted. While Lopez and West go door to door, they run to Wesley, who demands answers. When Lopez tells him the truth, he questions the morality of keeping this kind of information from the public. Concerned that he might leak it, Lopez decides to place him under arrest to prevent any risk. Meanwhile, authorities discover that the two suspects plan to impersonate TSA agents. Realizing the urgency, all teams mobilize toward the airport. They confirm the vehicle's ID and the remaining patrol unit, along with Gray, engage in a high-speed pursuit. Nolan manages to clip the back of the vehicle, causing it to spin out, but the suspects open fire. Nolan hits one of them, and the men take off on foot. West chases one of them onto a bus, where the suspect takes the passengers hostage, using the virus as leverage. Lopez arrives in her patrol car and boards the bus with West. The suspect threatens to release the virus as West tries to calm him down. Just as the man gets ready to act, Lopez shoots him in the chest, ending the standoff. Wesley later apologizes to Lopez for his earlier outburst, and Commander West commends his son for his courage. Later, Nolan and Russo are walking through the neighborhood, with Bishop nearby in her vehicle, when they spot something suspicious. As they investigate a backyard, the suspect opens fire. Wounded, the man is still armed, but Nolan manages to talk him down, convincing him to surrender and become a spokesperson for his cause, rather than die a martyr. The man agrees, but before he can act, Russo, thinking she sees movement, shoots him. Bishop praises Nolan for his effort, but he's troubled by what Russo did. She advises him not to question it right now, and to sleep on it, warning that doing otherwise could jeopardize both his career and their relationship. After witnessing the man's death, Tim finally lets his guard down with Chen, admitting he's scared he might suffer the same fate. She does her best to reassure him, unaware that he's quietly preparing his gun just in case. Soon after, Dr. Morgan arrives with the experimental vaccine and asks Bradford to open the door. They administer it, and not long after, the rest of the rookies and training officers gather to welcome him. The episode closes with Bradford walking out with the CDC, only to collapse on the front lawn.